Hey bag makers, today I'm going to be talking about the Martelli Round-About, various fabrics that I've added to my stash. I'm going to be sharing another one of your stories about how sewing made my dreams come true. Also added some quilt patterns to my stash, and I'm very excited that I have a sneak peek to share with you later on during the show. So I'm Sarah Lawson from Sew Sweetness. Thanks so much for joining me for Sewcial Sunday, my weekly sewing chat. Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Welcome to Sewcial Sunday. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I see Gloria's watching from Georgia, Monique from Maryland, Clovis is watching. Hey Clovis. Evelyn is also watching, Mona from Virginia, and Joyce from Delaware. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. So lots of fun things to share with you tonight. First off, I wanted to do a live giveaway. I have a sneak peek that I'm going to share later on in the show. So this live giveaway will be for whatever I'm going to be sharing later. So we're going to be including all of the comments so far between Facebook and YouTube. So if you have not commented yet, go ahead and tell me where you're from. I'm going to give all of the comments a second or two to come through. And then Danny's going to help me draw a randomly drawn winner for that prize. And I do have a giveaway at the end of the show, our usual giveaway for all of the viewers, including those who watch the recording later on in the week. So stay tuned for that giveaway at the end of the show. Okay, so Danny, what numbers am I choosing from for this live giveaway winner?
1 through 40?
1 through 40, so how about 35?
1 through 20?
7.
Sorry, can you do it again because they just cycled through. I'm going to freeze the page.
Oh, that's okay. 37 and 7 is what I said before.
37, 3, 6.
All right, Dawn Tennyson won our live giveaway. Congratulations to you, Dawn. Please email me after the show, and my email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and that's Sarah with no H. And again, your prize will be revealed later on during our show tonight. So for the notion of the week, I have two sets of things to share with you. So the first set, Danny's going to switch to the overhead camera, and these are some patches made by one of our viewers, Rene Manadice. Rene and Melissa watch our show all the time. So these are some of the patches Rene made for us and sent to us. Violet also has one too. So this is Danny's patch. This is William's. Violet's is being used right now, so I couldn't share it on the show. Rene made these also. I thought these were really neat. And then of course our logo. So if you're interested in having Rene make a patch for you, I've linked to his Facebook page in the description, and you can go ahead and contact him via his Facebook page. These are super high quality. I love the colors, and I think this is our family favorite, the Slytherin Harry Potter patch. So again, link is in the description for Rene's Facebook page. And the other thing that I wanted to share with you in regards to notions of the week is this new set that I picked up from my friend Vanessa's shop. So you may be familiar with Vanessa of the Crafty Gemini. If you're not, check out her YouTube channel. She has fantastic tutorials, videos, and on her website also. And what I picked up is the Martelli Round-About. So Danny's going to switch to the overhead camera so that I can show you what the roundabout looks like. So it comes in 3 separate pieces. I bought this as a set from, and Vanessa has these on her website as well. So it comes with sort of a Lazy Susan type thing. It's round and it's covered in velvet. So the velvet helps the 2 other items in the set stick to this piece, and it turns. So the first piece is a pressing board, and it's covered in fabric and attached to this wood board. It's slightly padded, and obviously really nice for ironing fabric when you need to change your orientation. So especially if you need to have a bunch of different seams that you need to address, this will take care of that for you. And the third piece in the set, I'm just going to take this off, is this cutting mat. And the cutting mat has foam on the back, And it's a rather thick cutting mat, so a good quality cutting mat. It's 17 inches across. And I really could have used this a couple weeks ago when I was cutting out fabric for, I was trimming quilt blocks. So my quilt blocks were 6.5 inches. So what I was doing at the time is I was taking my rotary cutter and I got the first 2 edges okay, but then I was sort of like twisting my body into awkward angles so that I could cut the other 2 edges, and definitely coming down this edge, not super safe, the blade really close to my arm. Having this set from Martelli, you can just easily turn through, cut all 4 sides without moving your fabric. That's what I'm always afraid of. Like if I move my fabric, then my cut will be not as exact. So as you can see, that was super easy, and looks like I need to change out my blade soon, but very handy. The markings, as you can see, are already on the cutting mat. I do have a bunch of rulers just because I liked for squaring up blocks to have specific sized rulers. But anyway, I'm very excited to have this now because now squaring up won't be such, it'll be twice as fast as it was before. And this is the Martelli Round-About. The link is in the description in case you're interested in checking that out. And the link is to my friend Vanessa's shop, not affiliate related, just because she's my friend and I wanted to link to her great shop, and she's got other notions and fun things in the shop as well, so check that out. All right, today in Chicago, we're starting to warm up a little bit. We had 50-degree weather. I've been thinking about getting a hammock. I've wanted to get one for some time, so I found one online the other day, sent Danny the link. Oh, Danny, what did you think? I emailed him the link because sometimes he's sleeping when I'm up early in the morning checking things out online, and I'm really looking forward to ordering this hammock because when the weather gets warmer, I just want to lay outside, either read a book, work on my cross stitch. I was thinking of putting the hammock up underneath this one particular tree. I have several hummingbird feeders. They're not out yet because it's a little bit early, but I'm just imagining in my head like laying in the hammock reading a book, and then the hummingbirds are like right above my head eating from the hummingbird feeder. So I'm super excited about getting a hammock. So I have a question for you. Let me know in the comments, what was the weather where you live today? So obviously in other parts of the world like New Zealand and Australia, quite nice weather. Danny was remarking someone in Australia, Tasmania, I think he said, was walking on the beach today. So very jealous, but I know in Chicago we'll have warmer weather soon. Fingers crossed. All right, so new fabrics that I've added to my stash recently, just a bunch of different various fabrics. Danny's going to switch back to the overhead camera so that I can share them with you. A few horse-themed fabrics. So this one I picked up is, I think the fabric line's called Hold Your Horses. And I really like the saying on the bottom edge of the fabric, live like someone left the gate open. I like that, and I like the print as well. And I picked up the same print in a different colorway. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna make with these. Maybe something for my trainer. Seems like her vibe. Oh, and then there's some panels too in the same fabric line. They all have sayings on them. So life is better in boots. Here's that saying again, live like someone left the gate open. There's a few more, looks like. I can't talk right now. My horse and I are too busy being awesome together. That sounds good to me. And then that boots saying again. So another set of panels that I picked up. So Riley Blake has all these fantastic panels for different cities of the world. So Paris, London, some cities in Canada, cities across the United States. So being from Chicago, I picked up this Chicago panel, and they're rather, as you can see, they're rather large. They don't totally fit on the table, but different places in Chicago. I think there's 4 designs. I could be wrong. Let me see if I could flip this over. Maybe not. I bought a few. Oh yeah, there's 4 designs. I bought a few yards, so they're all quite a lot of fabric stacked over here. I kind of like the retro designs. I think this one's my favorite, Navy Pier in Chicago. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. The panels are kind of large. Maybe a tote bag with just the panel. I'm not sure yet. If you've purchased some of these Riley Blake panels and you've made something with them, let me know what you made. This is kind of a one-off that I picked up, this monster print. I just thought it was cute. More horse-related fabrics. These are from Dear Stella. These are designed by Ray Ritchie. I just liked the horse graphics. They were cute as well. And then 2 more fabrics. I don't know. I've been collecting some bee fabrics. I'm not sure what I'll make with them, but I thought these were rather nice. So lots of fabrics in the stash, not enough time in the day, but if you're interested in any of the fabrics that I showed, just check that link in the description and you can find out more information about the fabrics or the notions and other items that I mentioned already. I think I forgot to mention at the start of the show, just about everything that I talk about during Sewcial Sunday are things that I've purchased myself, so these are not things that someone is paying me to talk about, but just cool things that I found that I'd like to share with you on Sewcial Sunday. So I have another question for you. Let me know in the comments. Do you make bags or pouches with team fabric? This question came to me because I was thinking about that Chicago fabric and I was wondering if you've made perhaps your local NFL, NBA teams, maybe your local college teams, maybe you've made items either for yourself, family members, or to sell in team fabric. So let me know in the comments. I'm curious if you are using those types of fabrics in your projects. All right, so lately I've been sharing some of your letters. I asked a couple months ago to share your stories around the theme, How Sewing Made My Dreams Come True, and today's letter is from Laura. So I'm going to read Laura's letter that she emailed me last month. And I guess I'll read the letter first and then we have a picture to go along with it. So Laura says, first of all, Laura lives in Australia. She says, my sewing story, years ago, I was asked to make a baby quilt for someone. On a whim, I sent a picture to a magazine, which to my amazement, asked to publish it and do a feature article on me. As part of that interview, they asked me what my sewing dreams were. I pondered the question and said to go to a big quilting event in the United States one day. Then I thought, what's holding me back? I had the money and nothing holding me back, so I booked the Sewing Summit in Utah, which is where I met you, meaning me. Good memories, so I thought I'd share. So Sewing Summit was in 2012. Danny's going to put a picture of Laura up on the screen. This is Laura with her 2 dogs. Looks beautiful over there out on the waterfront. So I met Laura in 2012 at this event called Sewing Summit. So Sewing Summit was in Utah. It was the first time that I ever taught a class. Actually, I taught 2 classes. One class was about interfacing that you use when making bags. And the second class was about zippers, how to install zippers using different methods. I think it was a zipper pocket and then a zipper as if you're sewing it into a zipper pouch, just a basic zipper pouch. So I was super nervous. The flight from Chicago to Utah was at the time the longest flight I'd ever been on, besides going to Europe when I was 6. But I was very scared. I knew some people from meeting them online, but there were hundreds of people there, so it was scary. And Laura was so nice. I remember when I met her in person, she took my hand, she made me feel really comfortable, and there were various classrooms set up at the event, including I think some long arming machines maybe. And Laura, we were talking about long arming and machine quilting quilts, and at the time I don't think I'd ever machine quilted a quilt before, and Laura said, you know, since we're here, if you have some free time, I'll show you how to do it. And I think the weekend was so busy, we never got around to doing that, but I was very honored to meet Laura, and we still talk online, we're still Facebook friends, and so thank you, Laura, for sharing your story and allowing me to share your picture on the show. And I really enjoyed sharing these stories about how sewing made your dreams come true, and Laura is just another great example of that. So thank you again, Laura. Danny's favorite part of the Sunday show when he's not on it, we'd like to invite all the bag makers to stand proud. Let us know in the comments that you're part of the Sew Sweetness squad, and we're so happy that you're here. Thank you for watching the show, and we appreciate not only the subscribes over on YouTube, but the likes, shares, and of course the comments. You guys are always on way before the show starts, chatting in the comments, so it makes me really happy to see that. So One more thing before the big sneak peek. I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. I've added last few months I've added some new quilt patterns to my stash. I haven't made them yet, but I thought I would share them on the show. So Danny's going to flip back over to the overhead camera. So just various, I don't know, I usually make quilts and solids and I like really bold designs. So this first one is from Zen Chic. It's called Winter Star. I just like that it's just basically one single quilt block, but huge. These next two patterns I purchased from Quiltachusetts, and I just like I don't know, I really like the graphic designs. I like that there's just minimal colors in each of these quilts, and I just thought they were really interesting and unique. The next one is from It's So Emma. This one's called Milky Way. What caught my eye was the bright white borders. Looks like there's just 3 different colored fabrics in this particular quilt, which very interesting to me. Something probably different than what I would normally make, which is good. This one's the most recent of the bunch. This one's from Robin Pickens and it's called Backslash. Again, I like you can tell by looking at it, it's just a minimal amount of blocks, but just oriented different ways with the white borders, which I like. And then this one's called Endgame from Tied with a Ribbon. I'll show you on the back so you can see a flat graphic of the quilt. Triangles, there's not a lot of them, but it seems like a good opportunity to play with color. And then I also picked up the optional acrylic templates. The pattern pieces are included, but I just thought it would be faster to cut with the acrylic and my rotary cutter. So links to all of these patterns are in the description in case you're interested in any of them. And all right, now it's time for the sneak peek. So I've been working on this project for the last 9 months, and I'm going to show you half of the projects today. So I was super nervous, both nervous and excited before the show to share these projects. So I'm going to be sharing the first 6 projects tonight and the last 6 projects next Sunday. So be sure to stay tuned for that. You may have guessed, it's Minikins Season 3. We've been working, 9 months is most of the pandemic for us, but working really hard on these projects, and I'm excited to share some of them with you. So, so I'm a little nervous. All right, so the first, Danny's got some pictures to put up on the screen of some of the projects too. So he's gonna put the first picture up on the screen. This is the Palomino pouch. These are photos from the pattern covers, and the pattern covers were sewn and photographed by Shara of Shara Fit Buddy. And you may be familiar with Shara from her social media, but she does amazing work as far as sewing and photography. So this is the Palomino pouch. This particular one is size small. As you saw in the photo, it's available in 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large. This is the smallest one. I really liked hopefully I can hold that up so you can see. I don't know, I just liked the curved side panels. It comes with 2 different, in the pattern instructions, 2 different styles of these pull tabs on the end, which are handy for when you'd like to open and close the zipper. You can grab onto the pull tabs. So in this particular sample, the pull tabs were made with cork fabric and just cut and left raw, and there's also instructions in the pattern for making the pull tabs a slightly different style, but with quilting cotton. So yeah, this is very cute. I really like this one. This is one of my favorite ones, the Palomino pouch. And the fabric that I used for this one is Victoria Finlay Wolf. The fabric line is called Mostly Manor. All right, moving right along, the second one. Danny's going to put the second picture up on the screen. This one is called the Mustang Purse Organizer. I've had a lot of requests for a purse organizer, so happy to fulfill your requests. This one comes in 2 different sizes, petite and regular. I have here with me size petite, which fits in I know a lot of you have made the Baker Street bag already. Size petite fits in the Baker Street bag, and then I suppose any bag larger than the Baker Street bag, you'll move up to the larger size of this, which is size regular. So it has 3 different styles of pockets, and I have a note in the pattern instructions, even though I demonstrate one of each style of pocket in the instructions and in the video. You can decide if you'd like to, say, have 2 mesh pockets instead of just 1. There's a slip pocket, which I have over here. There's another one on the inside of the pouch. There's also, hopefully you can see that on camera, there's an accordion style pocket, which would be good for either cell phone keys, lipstick, whatever else you have. And then in the center of the purse organizer, there's a zipper divider, so you can have additional items in here. I think for me, I'd probably keep my cell phone in the center section perhaps, but whatever you want. And it is made with fusible fleece, so it's a little bit lighter weight, which I felt was appropriate for a purse organizer. And of course the handles on the side, easy for picking up out of your current purse and transferring into the next purse that you would like to use. All right, so the third project is the Frisian pouch, and again, Cher's lovely photo. As you can see, there's 3 pictured, which means 3 different sizes: small, medium, and large. I have with me a size large version in front of me, and it has a center section as well as a separate section in the front and the back, which you can see from Cher's photo. So the center section is really great for main items. Actually, I thought of this after I designed the pattern, but this would be really cool for handheld game systems like the Nintendo Switch, where you could have the main video game system in the center section, and then there's a separate zippered section on the front and the back. So let me open, let's see if you could see it on camera. Yeah, that's pretty good. So if I open the front of the pouch, it's got a mesh pocket, so you can put smaller items like those little video game cartridges, or I'm not sure how small the handheld controller is, but perhaps that can go in the front section as well. And then of course that same section is repeated on the back. And these are made with handbag zippers. I use double pull zippers just so you could have, I don't know, I just liked how they opened from both sides, but of course you could use single pulls as well. And then there's little tabbies on either side for grabbing onto when you're opening or closing the zippers. All right, third sneak peek is the Brumby pouch, which is fourth, sorry. Fourth sneak peek is the Brumby pouch, which is the quickest and easiest, I think, out of the bunch. Again, Cher's photo shows small, medium, and large. I've got size large over here in front of me, and it's got this handle on one side as well as a pull tab on the other side. And then I just used a single pull zipper. And all of the projects, I should mention, are sewn, I don't know if right sides together is the correct term, but none of them are finished with binding or drop-in lining. They're all sewn right sides together. And this is really fun for a large scale print, which is what I used here. I used a really large scale print from Anna Maria Horner for the large size version of this pouch. Let's see, number 5 on the list is the Andalusian pouch. Again, Danny's got one of Cher's photos to put up on the screen. It just comes in one different size. Cher's got 2 in her photograph, so you can see that one is opened, and I've got 2 in front of me, so I'll show you this blue one first. So let me unzip the, actually, Danny, can you switch to the overhead camera for, I just feel like I'm going to be really awkward trying to show these on camera. So I made 2 different versions. It does have a zipper on the back side, zipper pocket, and I made 2 different versions. So one version I made with the body of the bag, the same fabric is used for this top strip over here. And then I made another version with this top strip made with the same fabric as on the accents. So I'll open this one. So it's got a grab handle on one end, and then it opens, and it has its shape from a metal frame. So I have these new smaller metal frames in my shop, and it really gives the bag nice structure and a good shape, and it's fun to sew. I really like sewing with these metal frames. Okay, Dan, you can switch back to the front camera. That one's number 5. That's a really enjoyable sew as well, the Andalusian pouch. And the last one is the piebald pouch, again available in 3 different sizes. Great for, I was originally envisioning storage for colored pencils and markers, but in Cher's photo she's got a skein of yarn, so that works out well. I guess anything you'd like to put inside. I've got size large in front of me, And you can either use a single pull zipper, or if you're using a zipper by the yard, it calls for number 3 zipper for this particular project, and I used 2 pulls just so it would open 1 zipper on either side. And there is a loop on the back of the pouch for grabbing and transporting, and someone gave me this idea for putting command strips in your sewing room and hooking these and storing items inside, and then when you're not using it, zipping it closed. So really excited about these projects. I had a hard time deciding which 6 I would show first. I feel like the 6 that I'll be sharing next Sunday are, I love these so much, but the next 6 are slightly a little bit stronger, I think. I was trying to make it even as far as my favorites, I suppose, but yeah, so stay tuned for Sewcial Sunday next Sunday, and I'll be sharing the last 6 projects in Minikins Season 3, and it comes out in 2 weeks on March 21st. So we're very, very excited around here, and I hope you enjoyed seeing those projects, and I'll be having a giveaway for the upcoming Minikins Season 3 at the end of today's show, so stay tuned for that. So I'm going to announce the winner of last week's giveaway in just a second, but before that, if you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments. Type those in the comments right now on Facebook or YouTube. You'll need to be signed into your either Facebook or YouTube account in order to type and leave a comment, and it can be a bag making related question, question about a notion or tool, sewing question. And Danny's been having great luck finding the questions among all the comments if you type either a question mark before your question or you type it in capital letters. So the winner of last week's giveaway was Manalia Figaro, so congratulations to Manalia. Contact me after the show. My email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and that's Sarah with no H. And congratulations to you again for winning a prize on Sewcial Sunday. Randy says, do you get nervous when teaching? That's a really great question. How long ago did I start teaching? Well, I guess I mentioned on the show 2012 was the first class I taught. That was at a convention. I think the convention was for either 200 or 300 people. Obviously, I didn't have that many in my class because there were smaller breakout classrooms, but regular teaching, I might have started the year following that. Yes, it always makes me nervous. Butterflies. In later years of teaching or giving lectures, it did become easier, but there was always the nerves. Even when I'm filming a video, I still get nervous leading up to the video. So I guess that part never goes away. Not nervous in a bad way, just, you know, some of the little butterflies. Barbara says, Sarah, do you like more modern quilting versus making traditional? So I feel like maybe I toe the line at both. I do like modern designs. I also like a lot of traditional quilt patterns, and I like using solids, so I feel like the spin on a traditional quilt pattern, just me personally using solids, I feel like that's sort of a modern way to look at it, but I feel like I do, out of the 2 types of quilt patterns, I feel like I do prefer more of the traditional quilt patterns, if that makes sense. Debbie says, have you considered making pockets in RFID protection fabrics? So I read, not to make this a long answer, I read something. First off, there are RFID fabrics available online. You can just Google it and you can find them. It does potentially protect your credit cards from someone lifting the credit card numbers, although I feel like technology has changed over time, so I'm not sure how valid that particular fabric technology is today. But if you're interested in learning more about it, you can certainly Google it, and like I said, you can find some online to purchase as well. Bobby says, how many bags are in this Minikins set? So there's 12 projects, so I showed you 6 today, and I'll be sharing the other 6 next Sunday on the show. So 12 total, 12 PDF patterns and 12 videos. Kathy says, do you have the patterns for the Cricut machine ability to cut? So we do currently have some patterns available for SVG files, which is what you'll need for an electric cutting machine such as the Cricut and others. There's a tab on my website. If you go to the shop tab, there's a sub tab for patterns with SVG files, and if you click there, you'll see what we have available so far. We'll be adding more in future, But among the SVGs that we have available so far are Minikins Season 1 and 2, which is 25 patterns between the two of them, so a good amount. All new patterns going forward, starting with the 4-pack video bundle that we released last year, will have not only SVG files, but projector files and AO files, which is large format copy shop printed patterns. And those are at no extra cost. And so those will be included when we release Minikins Season 3 as well, in case you're interested in any of those additional file types. Nancy says, are the frames the same for the Sheffield? The frames for the Andalusian pouch are a smaller size. I do have them in my shop listed already, just because we were trying to get some of the supporting items for the new patterns in the shop, and they are the 10¼ inch frames, I believe. Angie says, can we order the new Minkins now, or do we have to wait until the 21st? Unfortunately, you'll have to wait until the 21st. We have finished filming all the videos, but we're getting all of our ducks in order as far as all the behind the scenes work on the website to get that ready. And so it will be available on March 21st. Jean says, do you have a Facebook or area that you showcase your quilting? That's a good question. So I think it's been a while since I blogged about any quilting projects, but I do share photographs as I'm working on them on my Instagram account, which my Instagram handle is SewSweetness in case you use Instagram. Otherwise, I do share my quilting projects as I work on them and finish them on Sewcial Sunday as well. So if you tune into the show, you'll see it here first. Dana says, do you have a quilt design wall? I actually don't. I have one that I purchased some years ago, and it's still, I pulled it out once and it was just so big at our old house, it took up so much room. So I do still have it in the basement, but it is not up, and maybe I'll find a good spot to set it up so I can just set it up and leave it. Oh, Danny's collecting questions.
I'm letting you take a couple drinks of water. People are commenting, let Sarah drink some water.
Oh, Danny says there's some comments for him to let me drink some water. Thank you. Thank you for being so thoughtful.
All right, that's enough.
All right. Kathy says interfacing for cork. So that depends. So if I'm using cork for accents or straps, such as, I still have this bag behind me. This is the Renegade bag. So for this bag, I didn't use any interfacing for the straps or the accents. I did use the interfacing as called for in the patterns. So this bottom panel over here, has the interfacing, same interfacing as used for in the pattern. So that's kind of my rough estimation as far as cork usage for a bag. Sometimes it also depends on the style of bag you're making. If it's meant to be a less structured bag, like a hobo bag, you might want to adjust the interfacing, but those are some good tips to stick with as far as straps or accents. You can skip the interfacing. Janet says, I thought you had a rivet remover on your site, but I couldn't find it. We actually don't sell that because I found that on the Clumhouse website, and that's Clumhouse with a K. They do have a rivet removal tool, and in case you missed it, I have a video on my channel demonstrating that tool. So on the SewSweetness channel, you can just type in rivet removal tool, and it's a fantastic tool. Every once in a while, you'll install a rivet and it might go in crooked or incorrectly, and you'll need to remove it. You can remove it using this tool in just 2 seconds, and it's great to have on hand just in case of any rivet emergencies. Lori says, I am very new to making bags. I am nervous while cutting. Any tips? So I always, whether I mean to or not, end up having more more fabric than I need for the project. So maybe either purchase a little extra, or with my patterns, I always account for a little bit of extra for either fussy cutting or just to have a little bit of extra wiggle room. And I always measure twice and cut once, I think is the saying. So especially if I'm cutting fabric out using my quilting ruler and rotary cutter, I always look at the numbers. Sometimes I even count, with my finger, just to make sure I have the right measurements that I'm supposed to be cutting. If you're super unsure, you can always measure everything by drawing on the wrong side of the fabric with your friction pen, which is what I often do. and then cutting. But just, you know, relax. It's just fabric. In most cases it can be replaced, and I've certainly cut out items that were wrong over the years many times, so it happens to all of us. Dee Dee says, do you have plans to travel and teach again in the future? So when we started filming videos 4 years ago, both with our live shows and then just videos for my patterns, I started to scale back teaching just because we can reach more people through our videos than I can reach by teaching in person, because there's a limited amount of people, or just by happenstance there's only a certain amount of people that live in that area that belong to that quilt guild or other organization. And so I feel like then the pandemic happened, which kind of eliminated travel for a lot of people, but I feel pretty comfortable. You know, Danny's my business partner in filming and everything else, and it's just a really great setup that we can be here for the kids all the time and film videos when we're able to get in time, you know, after lunch or before lunch, things like that. So for the time being, we're going to be video only, sounds like. Sherry says, how do you cut the foam out of the seam? So there's two different ways you can cut the foam out of the seam. I have a couple patterns that you start off with cutting the foam smaller. So if you are sewing the foam into the seam, such as a zipper pocket opening, like on this Andalusian pouch, this was foam interfacing, and with the zipper pocket, I trimmed back the foam interfacing after sewing the zipper in. So I trimmed back, the seam allowance was 1/4 inch, and so I trimmed back just the foam, not the fabric. Trimmed it in half to about 1/8 of an inch, and I didn't measure that, I just kind of trimmed it back in half, and that kind of makes this area a little bit smoother and flatter for the zipper opening. If you are cutting your foam to start with smaller than your fabric in order to eliminate the bulk in the seam, such as what I do in the Minikins Day Trip cell phone wallet, you can attach it one of several ways. In the pattern, I think in the video also, I used Dritz Wash Away Wonder Tape, which is a double-sided 1/4 inch wide tape. So I just applied it to the edges of the fabric, and then, sorry, correction, I applied it to the edges of the foam and then centered the fabric on top. You can also use things like a washable glue stick to do that as well, and you don't have to do that with every pattern, but with some patterns, especially a small project like the Day Trip cell phone wallet where there's a lot involved, or there's the front pocket with the 3-dimensional panels and everything else that goes into place, sometimes it is helpful to eliminate the foam from the seam allowance. Becky says, can you use zipper by the yard for all of the new patterns? Yes, actually, looking at them, I did use zipper by the yard for many of them. So you can either use zipper by the yard, or you can use your regular number 5 or number 4.5 handbag zippers, or in the case of a few patterns like the piebald pouch, this one I used a number 3 zipper. I did try a few prototypes with it with the handbag zippers, and it just felt like too thick of a zipper tape for this particular, especially since it's the zipper's curving through the top corners. Nancy says, do you cut multiple layers of fabric at the same time if it's the same pouch or individual fabric? So that's a good question. I usually cut just one layer of fabric at a time. Sometimes I will double it up. So for instance, if I have a pattern piece where I'm cutting it on the fold, such as maybe a main panel pattern piece, I will start off with 2 layers of fabric and then fold it again. So that would be technically 4 total layers. And then I would cut out my pattern piece from those 4 layers. That doesn't happen often because usually I'm fussy cutting and I want like a certain design to be on the top, such as with this particular project, I wanted the pencils to be cut off at a certain place at the bottom of the fabric so that it would match on the front and the back. So in cases like those, I can't really cut multiple layers because the chances of it being right on both layers of fabric are pretty small, but you can. I'd probably just do the 4 layers of fabric total. Otherwise, then you start getting some shifting of the fabric while you're cutting. Lisa says, SVGs for the new Minikins Season 3. Yes, there will be when it comes out on March 21st. You will also have in your account after purchase the SVGs, the projector files, and AO files. Christina says, duckbill scissors are awesome for cutting fabric away from a sewn seam like a zipper pocket shown. Yes, thank you so much for mentioning that, Christina. For this Andalusian pouch, the duckbill scissors would be great for trimming back the foam interfacing, because the nature of the duckbill, it kind of holds the fabric away from what you're cutting, so you don't accidentally cut your fabric when you're only meaning to cut the foam. Venus says, I am sewing really thick military uniform fabric with OD code on it, and my brand new Juki is skipping some stitches. I just got it back from the repair shop for a timing problem. Can you help? Military uniform fabric. I'm not sure if you're using a Teflon foot or a walking foot. That might help it being OD coat. It might help it glide over a little bit further off the spot. You can always email me after the show, or if anyone else has some advice for Venus, let us know in the comments, and Danny will look out for it so he can put it up on the screen for her. Sherry says, have you ever used industrial strength thread in your projects? If so, what kind? What types of materials would you use for these threads? I actually have not. I don't have any in my stash. I've never used it. Again, if anyone has, let us know in the comments, and Danny will look out for that. Are there larger wool mats than 17 inches by 17 inches, or would you recommend an ironing board for large cuts of fabric? So I use both. So I have my ironing board. I do have several different wool mats. My favorite size is the 17 inch by 17 inch. I use it when we film our videos, just so I have a pressing surface on top of this wooden tabletop. I do have a bigger wool mat. It's 17 inches by 24 inches. I use that a lot at our old house because our setup was a little bit different. There might be some bigger than that. That's the biggest one I have, but I use the 17 inch by 17 inch one all the time. Deborah says, are the names of the new Minikins your favorite horse breeds? That's a really great question. So each of the new Minikins Season 3 patterns are named after horse breeds. My goal is to own a horse one day, and so in honor of that goal, I named all of the patterns after horse breeds. Some maybe perhaps more recognizable to you than others, but that's my goal. So fingers crossed one day. Blossom said, have you heard of sky-clad quilts? They look like something you'd enjoy sewing. I have not, but I'm going to write that down so I can check that out after the show. Sky-clad quilts. Thank you very much for that information. Carolyn says, what is a Minikins? I am new to the group. So that's a really great question. Minikins are sets of patterns, and generally they're smaller projects. So the first set of Minikins came out, I think 5 years ago. It was, I called it, at the time I just called it Minikins because I thought that was going to be it, because I thought, how many small projects could there possibly be for you to design? So I thought, I did 12, and I thought that's about it on your ideas for the small projects. A year later, I came out with Minikins Season 2, so I guess there's more than 12 ideas in my head for small projects. That set was 13, and I just called it Minikins. My friend Kim came up with the term Minikins, and it was just smaller projects, and so we stuck with the name. The patterns and videos for the Minikins seemed to be really well received, and so this year I thought, I don't know. During the pandemic, I thought, it's all right to be upset some days, but just keep working. And, I told you a second ago, my goal to own a horse one day, and I just had that at the front of my mind, especially on the days that were rougher than others. You're working on this goal, keep working on these projects. They're keeping you really busy, and just, stick with it, keep your head down and keep working. So that's what I did, and 9 months later I have these really fun projects to show for the past 9 months. Elaine says, will number 5 black zipper with silver teeth be back in stock soon? So we do have our zipper order on the way. I don't have an update in tracking yet, so I can't give you an updated date as of yet, but it should be here soon. We do have an out of stock notification on our website, so any product listing that you notice that says it's out of stock, you can sign up. In the product listing, there should be a little box where you can enter your email address, send that over to us, and then you'll be automatically notified as soon as that's listed back in stock. You don't need to email me or anything like that. The notification box is in the product listing, and if there are size or color options, such as 3 3 yards, 5 yards. You'll just need to pick the option in the drop-down box first, and then that notification box will pop up. Marlene says, Sarah, will there be acrylic templates for some of the new patterns? Great question, Marlene. We will have acrylic templates available for all 12 projects. If the particular pattern has 3 different sizes, the set of acrylic templates will include all of the sizes available for that particular pattern. And we should have those in stock before the bundle is released. Hopefully I ordered enough. We'll see. If not, we'll get more shortly. Are you calling it on the questions, Danny? All right. I apologize if I did not get to your question live, but I'll be back again next Sunday answering more questions, and Danny will be joining me on the show. And don't forget, I'll be showing the next 6 projects for Minikins Season 3 next Sunday, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to be giving away another Minikins Season 3 bundle as the giveaway for tonight's show. The winner won't be able to receive the bundle, unfortunately, until it comes out on the 21st, but you will be on the list to get your bundle for free. So my question for you for the giveaway, let me know in the comments. This will be your entry for the giveaway. I'll draw the winner this Saturday and announce the winner on next Sunday's show. And my question is, which of the first 6 projects was your favorite? So because I could never remember all the names, I'll just briefly hold them up on the screen, mention the names again, and you can let me know which one's your favorite project out of the 6. Type the name in the comments and that will be your entry. So first one is the Palomino pouch, the Mustang purse organizer, the Frisian pouch, and it's okay if you spell it incorrectly, I'll know what you meant. The Brumby pouch, what else do we have? The Piebald pouch, and I think this is the last one maybe, yes, or the Andalusian pouch. So let me know which of the 6 is your favorite out of all the 6. Let me know in the comments. I'll be looking forward to seeing what your favorites are after the show. So thank you so much for joining me for Sewcial Sunday tonight. It was really exciting for me, if a little bit nerve-wracking. I hope you have a great week and happy sewing. Bye, everybody.